guys, I'm Chez Pride, and today we are making a Sims 4 related video, but we are mixing a few different video ideas into one video because one, I felt like they just went together and they were shorter video ideas anyway, but two, honestly, I didn't get anything out as fast as I had planned video-wise this last week, so I figured why not just combine the two video ideas and put them out as one video, because basically these are both things I wanted to do since the emergency patch came out on Thursday, along with the new Sims 4 and Royalty and Legacy pack, but I haven't had the actual time to sit down and do either between the two holidays this weekend and just being sick during it all. Like, I had a whole Valentine's Friday the 13th video idea and it just didn't get done because I have not had the time or felt the best. To be fair, I still don't feel great, but I'm not asleep or busy right now, so I figured why not at least attempt to record the video, because I figured it's better to be half a week late than like over a week late. You know, I guess better late than never, but I would still rather it not be extremely late. But basically, I wanted to go over the emergency patch. I went over the original patch in another video, and as I guess in that video, it broke some stuff when it came out because it was a big patch and Sims 4 patches break stuff when they come out. So we had an emergency patch and we are going to talk about what that patch broke and then what the emergency patch has done to attempt to fix it. And then I want to do a build playing with the new stairs, since apparently that's something that broke and fixed, or they say it's fixed. But I have really become obsessed with the game Tiny Glade, so I wanted to make a tiny castle build off the building style of the Tiny Glade game, and in honor of how that game works, I think I'm just basically making it a shell build. So basically, I'm going to be focusing on the outside and what's around it, like landscaping wise, but I will probably still try to make a floor plan because I want the stairs to lead somewhere, and you know, Sims, you can actually make a floor plan it, unlike Tiny Glades. But I do want to start with the patch and what the patch is for. So as per usual, when I read patch notes, I'm reading these directly off the EA website under the Sims 4 news and update category. And these patch notes are called the Royalty and Legacy launch day patch notes because they did come out the same day as the Royalty and Legacy expansion pack launch, which was last Thursday, February 12th, 2026, right before Valentine's Day. And like I said, it's coming out the same day as an expansion pack, and it's supposed to be an emergency fix, so it's not big. Literally, I think they focused on two categories of problems, which ironically were the two biggest categories in the last patch update, which I don't understand if the whole reason they did this patch, this emergency patch, was to fix these two broken things that broke in the patch and had to be fixed before the expansion pack launched, because if they didn't fix them before the pack launched, the pack would not have worked in those categories. Granted, I've heard the pack has come out with other glitches, but still these would make like many of the builds broken and messed up the family trees and dynasties, so they had to fix these. So why didn't they make these an SDX drop? Like, wasn't that exactly what SDX drops were for? Like, I think they've just dropped SDX drops since the start of having monthly updates, which I'm not dissing on the monthly updates. I like having monthly patch updates. I like having monthly bug fixes. I like having new content almost monthly. It does kind of go along with the fact that they have to put a patch out before an expansion pack anyways, but when the two features are broken and then they break people's game, why do they wait till the last possible second to fix it? Why not just give us an SDX drop instead of giving us an emergency patch the same day as launch day? Like, I just feel like we could have got it a week sooner if we just got it through an SDX drop. The update would have been easier, and there's so many SDX drops that gave us more than these bug fixes, like in content wise, so I feel like it would have been doable for an SDX drop. I don't know, I just feel like they have dropped SDX drops and I feel like that's stupid. I felt like those were a really good thing. Like, I know sometimes they were just to give us free content, but But when they like fixed emergency things like they were meant to, I think it worked really well instead of just making us wait almost 2 weeks for your game to be fixed. And the only reason they fix it is because an expansion pack is coming out. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that is bogus to me. But like I said, it focused on 2 categories of fixes, which were the 2 biggest things in the last patch, which were stairs and family trees. So basically with the stair update, we got an update where we got frayed? Is that frayed stairs? I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Basically where you can like make the ends bigger on the stairs. And then we also got an update for the sail railings where not only where you could have them on a slider and make them longer or shorter on the stairs, but also where you could choose to have it on the left or the right side if you didn't want them on both sides. And that just broke all the stairs in the game. Like, basically what was happening, if you downloaded that patch, we already went over that patch in another video, and it was a messy drop from the start. But when you downloaded that patch and then you load it into a lot in one of your save files, it basically made it to where you load it into a lot and every single staircase in that save file broke. Like, it basically made it to where none of the staircases were categorized right, which made them go poof. Like, they just were like, oh, these don't count as stair railings anymore. They shouldn't exist. And all your stair railings in the save file just disappeared. Whether it be preloaded lots that you downloaded off the gallery, lots you built yourself. And that is pretty bad for builders. Like, I know some people probably wouldn't care. Honestly, that's not something that would bother me unless it's a lot that I was actively playing in, which is all the lot. So it is the lot you're actively playing in. But it bothers me less about the lots in the world. It's still annoying for people, just players in general, because you're constantly going to other lots in most save files. But it's just still, it's like that should have been an STX job. And then also the family trees. So basically they had it where some of the family ties were wrong, as well as some of the families were, I think some of the family members were repeated, and then there were some family members that were on the wrong category of the tree, because basically we got a big overhaul on family trees. We got new relationships, new different ties in the family tree. It made it where you could shrink and expand the family tree. It leveled out the family tree. It made it where you could see 10 generations at a time in your family tree. So big update, but it did some wonky things. So let's go ahead and jump into the actual patch notes and get exactly what happened. Even though, like I said, I think this should have been an STX job. But it says, Social Simmers, this is a small patch to address a few player reported issues since our last base game update. Thank you so much for your continued reports on the EA forums. So the only reason they even knew about these is because of the EA forums. These are not things that they caught before they released the patch, which really bothers me. But like I said, stair railings will no longer be missing on pre-made lots, gallery lots, and player-made create lots. Went over that. And then everything else, I believe, has to do with family trees. So we resolved an issue where distant relative and distant relative in-law relationship labels were showing up inconsistently. We resolved an issue where newly adopted Sims failed to appear in the family tree after extending certain number of children, which I didn't even realize. So that's one. And then the same sim will no longer show up as a part of a different generation of the family tree. So yeah, it was just that the last two I said kind of sum up in those two. So that's even more problems than I even realized. But yeah, all of those problems are now apparently fixed. Hopefully, I hope. I have not heard that they're still broken, which by now I normally do, but we'll see. I haven't heard anything about the black photos either though. Like, are they still broken? Are they fixed? Like, I'm assuming they're not completely fixed at this point, but I haven't heard that the last patch made them worse, but maybe I just am out of the loop. So if you do know about that, maybe let me know, because I am curious about the black photos. I have been following that very closely. But like I said, now I wanted to jump into making a little build. It is going to be just a super tiny build, but I still think it's going to be fun because like I said, I am obsessed with tiny glades right now. So being able to play with the new stairs as well as make a tiny glade inspired build is going to be super fun for me. So let's go ahead and jump into game. So as a tiny glade active player, I will just go ahead and be the first one to point out the obvious of what you're probably thinking if you are a tiny Glade player, and I just said that the whole theme to this build is trying to mimic building in Tiny Glade. And when you start out in Tiny Glade on a fresh build, especially if you're doing a non-daily theme build, you're just picking a world and building, this is not what you get as a starting point. Not at all. You get a huge square lot that is engulfed and surrounded by trees. So not only do you have a complete circle of trees around you that come all the way up to the lot, you have a full square, huge lot of trees that you have to manually clear out a spot for you to build in. And that is not at all what this is. It is not square. It is not big. It is not engulfed in landscaping. But I thought for what I was going for, it was fitting. And it also did, in my opinion, in visual, not the size of the lot, but the surrounding area did kind of give Tiny Glade vibes. Like, honestly, like, the trees don't come up all the way to the lot. They don't come surrounding. But you do have, like, kind of a pathing type thing. You have rocks. You have trees that do surround the area. And I feel like if you were able to zoom out more in a Tiny Glade build, that this world kind of fits Tiny Glade vibes, especially in the flowery or the summery type of environment. The surrounding world, I feel like, fits the vibes. It's just that it's not square and it's a tiny lot. But I decided to do a tiny lot because I wanted to do a tiny build, considering the game's name is Tiny Glade, and we are doing this in honor of a tiny emergency fix. I just thought the whole tiny thing fit, and I thought the surrounding thing was perfect. So I just kind of went for a non-square lot, but I do understand that that feels very wrong for someone who actively plays Tiny Glade. But if you don't play Tiny Glade, let me kind of just explain to you what I'm talking about, because you're like, what? Tiny Glade? Huh? Basically, I have put out a few videos of me playing Tiny Glade on this channel. I actually plan on putting out more. I already have one recorded that I'm just waiting to edit. Basically, Tiny Glade, what I would describe it as, is a very small family-owned game. It's actually, I believe, ran by a couple, but basically it's like almost a medieval building game. Not in the same way Sims is a building game. Like, you're not building a house and decorating it. You are literally building a building. So it kind of is like medieval structures, you know, like rocks and, you know, just stone walls with like medieval decor and castle type building. But it doesn't have to be a castle necessarily, because you can build things that aren't castles. It's good for building castles, but it's more just a medieval building game in general. And it does, like I say, have daily themes that you can do that kind of gives you an idea. Sometimes they'll even tell you to do like ruins, which I think is really fun, and it just gives you a bunch of different ideas. But it's basically a medieval castle or castle-like building game. Like, honestly, I'll tell you now, the next video I'm coming out with on the Tiny Glade build, I built a whole town. Like, I built market stalls, I built a tavern, I built a restaurant, I built stores, I built houses, I built a farm. Like, there's several things you can do in this game, and my goal in this video is to build a tiny castle, because, you know, Royalty and Legacies came out. I thought it was appropriate that in honor that I could do a castle in Tiny Glade type form, but I'm just going to be building the shell of it and mainly focusing on the landscaping and the terrain, which is not something I play around with a lot in The Sims 4, so I think that'll be interesting. I am a little scared because I chose a tiny lot that the terrain's going to be hard, but we're going to get through it. But I'm going to basically build a castle without the Royalty and Legacy pack, but a castle with every other pack I have for it, and focus on the terrain and just do the outside of the building. I will still do a floor plan, like I said earlier, because it is a Sims build, and I don't just want to build a completely empty shell. I at least want there to be like rooms cut out, but I'm not going to furnish the rooms. I'm just going to mainly focus on the outside of the build. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. So since this is a rectangle lot with trees behind it, I am, as a Tiny Glade builder, imagining that that I just cleared out the trees and the rocks on the back half of the lot, and just looking at the environment, it definitely gives the flowery environment vibe. So I feel like there would have been both trees and rocks, and we just cleared that out. And let's give ourselves a daily theme. So the daily theme is tiny castle on a hill, because we want to show off those stairs. I feel like a grand stairway going up a hill to a castle, total Tiny Glade vibes. That's my goal. But typically in Tiny Glade, I will do a like moat situation when I do like a big castle on top of a hill with a big staircase going up to it. So I feel like I want to bring that over, and that does not give us a lot of room for the building. Like, I feel like when we do the terrain manipulation, we are very much going to have to do it in very slight bits as much as we can. And I feel like the terrain manipulation in Tiny Glades is definitely easier, but I also feel like it's more meant for it. Like, it still has the weird thing where the surrounding lot is completely flat, but somehow it just looks more natural in Tiny Glades than it does in The Sims 4, but I'm gonna do my best. Let's go ahead, and I figure like the hill would be like right in the center, because like we need water to go around all the way around and still have room for the stairs in the front. So I feel like if we just do something kind of like this, not as high obviously, but we can even it out once we get like the width, but I want to leave room for water in the back, and then we just smooth out the terrain. That's a pretty decent sized hill. And then I also feel like we could flatten the terrain in the front, but yeah, flatten it like that, and then honestly maybe shrink it in the back and then flatten it a little bit more, because I just want enough room for a little bit of a moat. I feel like that's decent hill. The thing I have to remember in Tiny Glade is it's not about being perfectly even. So I guess I'm slightly trying to channel that for myself in this. Maybe I can do like the water really deep over here and then kind of do it like just a tiny moat the rest of the way around. Maybe we can bring it out to the edge here, and then maybe we could put like some kind of like well over here, because I tend to do that in Tiny Glade a lot, is build like little custom wells. So now let's fill up the water. So let's rise the water not that far, maybe more like that. I feel like that's decent. Though now I feel like the hill needs to be a little bit higher, which I feel like is just going to be dangerous territory. Okay, I feel like that's a little bit higher, and I need to stop messing with it while I'm ahead, because it's just making it a little bit worse for me. But let's also fix this in the very back, because that is annoying me, and I can just do it with a super tiny one. There we go. That's enough of a moat, I guess. Maybe we can bring it the pond out a little bit more this way. And you know what? Just to honor the vibes of Tiny Glade. Just honor the vibes, you know. Let's go ahead and put some trees around. I'm thinking these trees kind of look like the vibe. Like brown trees on the top is almost the vibe I'm going for. Not islandy. That shape, but a different texture. Like that is almost, I guess that could work. That has lights on it, so that's not. This is the most likely to the shape in the base game. I did kind of want to do some of it base game, so we can kind of put these around the edges. Honestly, it going in the water is kind of Tiny Glade vibes. Like, honestly, I'm not even mad about that. It does spawn different size and shapes of the trees, so I am gonna spin them around a little bit. Do one kind of like up on the hill, and maybe one right there. Oh, I kind of like that, because that gives like a shaded place in the water. Okay, maybe we can do like a little bench back here, because if you watch my next Tiny Glade video, I spend way too long picking up benches. Okay, I know I shouldn't be worried about this now, but I'm just gonna do it before I forget. This kind of represents the Tiny Glade bench. Like, I feel like this very much gives the vibe. Oh, it is floating. Oh, it's just gonna float either way. That is annoying. Okay, I guess that bench is just not gonna be functional. I guess I could do a little platform. When in doubt, do a platform, I guess. I want maybe the diagonal platform, because that more lines up with that. Okay, yeah, that works. We could do a little platform here, because I mean, I do a lot of docks on Tiny Glade, so I guess that makes sense. We could do a little dock here and then put the bench down the dock. Okay, we'll decide what color the dock is later, but we can put a bench there for now, and then I'll do a well there. Maybe I like to do the dirt path as like sand for the beach, so maybe we can mimic that with actual sand that like kind of looks like dirt. That's a little too bright, I always find this problem with sand. All of it's too bright. I want it to be darker, but I don't want it to just be straight up dirt. I guess that kind of works, but it has to be a little bit smaller. Let's do it like that. Maybe we can also do this area like beach vibes, do the edge of this water. I guess we could just do all the surrounding areas that can put sand on it with sand on the edge. Well, I don't like it like right here. Maybe like right on the edge, just to blend it a little bit. I like that hill being more grass, but I did want to blend it into this. So we can have that. Like I said, I'm going to put a well here, so maybe I'll go ahead and do that because I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that, honestly. I'm thinking the easiest way to do that. Well, we also have deck. Could do like a brown deck. I was thinking round room and then replace it with half walls, but this already comes with the fencing type. So if we just shrink this, or rinky-dink shrink this. Oh my god, move objects is not working near as well as I want it to work. Let's just go ahead. I guess we could do that as well. Basically what I do is typically I bring like a little platform up, and then I think the wall would actually work better, but let's build it as a platform and then fix it. Make this as tiny of a circle as we can. Put it there. Are we gonna have room to copy it here? That is the question. So let's go ahead and copy this and put there. Okay, it did fit there. Ooh, I didn't think that was gonna work. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think that was gonna work, but it worked. And then honestly, let's go ahead and delete the middle railings. Actually, now thinking about it, half walls aren't going to work either, are they? Yeah, even when I say replace with half wall, it just doesn't. Okay, what we can do is change it to a more solid fence to like mimic the wall of a well. I guess the smartest thing, since I'll probably be using the Castle Estate kit a lot, would to be use that fencing. Yeah, but this is kind of perfect vibes for Tiny Glade vibes. Hold on. So let's do this vibe. And then I think if we're going to be mimicking a well, we should delete that. And then probably, I don't like doing this in The Sims 4 because it's just gonna be horrible, but let's go ahead and try to do this. And I think the smartest move here would be change the camera angle and just make a little tiny hole, fill it with water, because that's kind of the goal I go with in Tiny Glade. Okay, that hole is not filling with water at all like I would like. I guess it does make sense for the water to be low in a well. Let's do that. I don't want to mess up the water here though, so let's see, is that the right height? Yeah, I think that's the height we had it at. Okay, I think that's the best I'm going to do on the base of the well. And then typically what I do is kind of what I do when I do a hidden garden here. Let's go ahead. The easiest way to build a roof here is to build a room, add a round roof here, then move it to above here. Okay, when I stretched the sides of it, it was able to work better. Okay, it looks better at medium wall height. I don't know if that means we're going to have to keep the medium wall height when we build the castle. Let's go ahead and just delete that for now. I guess we can continue using the Castle Estate kit. That's the color we went with. So we can just place these around. Now in Tiny Glade, to do this, you have to like build a wall and then run a path through it and put archways. But this is the goal I'm going for with that. So we have that. And then I guess we don't really have stone on here very much. I mean, we have the life and death thing. I mean, that kind of is the right vibe. It'll do. Let's do it in the brown. And that kind of mimics the well vibe I go for in the game. And now we have to make a castle front area for us to do the stairs up to. So let's go ahead and put down a platform first. Normally I would do the building first, but I think doing the front porch first might actually be the vibe, so we can kind of make sure it's centered. So like, what if we did it like that? Is that I feel like it actually needs to be more over this way and then shrunk like that. So it doesn't have to be huge. We can make it just lower this way. And I think right off bat, I want to start with the stairs. So I was going to use the Castle Estate stairs, which are somewhere here. I think we want this color, put it here. We want to make it double sized. Should we move it back into the staircase? I feel like that gives the most Tiny Glade vibes, honestly, because then we could maybe do rocks going up the side of it. But if we go here, we should be able to... Why is this not working? Is it just because it's on a hill? Because when I place these stairs down, right, like I just place them down like on this hill and click on, see, I get the flared option. Oh, that's bogus. That doesn't let you do it in a hill. So would I have to, what if I moved the stairs up here, flared it ahead of time, incompatible with terrain? This is actually bogus. Wait, no, I don't like this. This kind of ruins almost all of my plans. See, it doesn't want to do it because of the hill. Oh, we may have needed a bigger lot. Wait, what if I put it on this? Oh, okay, there we go. So I could flare it there. Then will it stay flared if I put it in the center here? I hacked it. We will have to leave it kind of weirdly cut here, but we can cover that up with rocks. As long as the stairs are flared, I'm happy. Well, what if we move the platform there? That works. You know what? That works. I'm happy with that. It's not as far into the hill that I want it, but you know what? If it functions, I'm happy. Okay, well, let's go ahead and put the base of our castle down now that we have that figured out. I kind of want the main building to be like this because I'm kind of going to do this in the same way I do other builds in Tiny Glade, just in a different method. So I'm going to put this down here. Let me guess, this has to be medium wall height for that to work? Yep. Okay, so we're gonna make it medium wall height. Not exactly what I want it, but we'll do. Maybe we can move this back, kind of like that. And then we can have like a balcony area up here, which is what I typically do on castles in that game. So we can make this actually a half wall, or like with a fence. We could use this fencing up here to make like a little gated area and do that there. And then just have this be the actual top of the castle, which doesn't leave much room in an actual floor plan, but you know what, this is fine. We have a little announcement balcony, which is basically what I normally use these for. And then honestly, I wouldn't mind maybe propping this out and having like a more proper entryway door. Can I just put the platform like this? It worked like that. There we go. So at least that's a little bit more of an entryway area. Well, we could either do fencing along here, or we could also add like a little roof tower thing. All right, let's first go ahead and put the fencing here because I know I'm going to want it here on the balcony. Now, do I want to do this, or do I want to take this, put it up here, shrink it to one tile? Oh my god, one tile is so tiny in The Sims 4. Okay, honestly, I think that looks better. Make it curve a little bit, maybe? Is it big enough to curve? I don't know if it is. It's not giving much of a curve when I change it. The castle vibes. And then we can copy that to over here. And then I do like to mix square and round pieces, which I feel like in The Sims 4 is probably a huge mistake. But you know what? This is supposed to be inspired by Tiny Glade. And honestly, I could wedge it. I kind of like the idea of just like wedging a circle over here. It kind of leads to the patio, or what is this called? The dock. And then we can have like building part that comes out here and goes down here or something. I don't know. But maybe we can take a circle piece and let's see. We want small circle piece and then rotate it. And if we put it up here, maybe we can, should we shrink it? Okay, we're gonna try. We can always make it bigger if we need to, but let's for now copy this and rotate it, do the same thing until it's complete circle in the corner of the building. I think that'll work. Let's go ahead and copy it up here, copy this piece up here, copy this piece up here, and then we want to do a tower moment, so copy again, and then maybe the top has the full round piece. That could be where it fits in as a full round piece. So let's go ahead and rotate this and do that up here. And then honestly, we can just copy this roof up here, make it less round. What if we even curved it a little bit? I feel like that fits the vibe of a tiny glade. And then we can make the roofs match. We can also just straight up copy these. Honestly, we can make these more like this. Do that. Would it be weird to put a little square building like here? But I feel like I would do that in Tiny Glade. I feel like that looks like something I would do. Well, if we did that, then we could at least copy this here and this here. Copy this maybe and flip it. I feel like that looks weird, but it does give like the right vibes I'm going for. I mean, it is skinny. It's bigger than I expected it to be, but it is a small skinny castle. I guess honestly, wait, what if we made this balcony area? So either bring that out completely, make this the balcony and make that under area, or we could put an actual balcony on this level. But honestly, I kind of like the idea that this pokes out like that, and then we build a wall to kind of support it, and then we could put like a big door there, make this like a tiny balcony moment out the back. That doesn't look horrible. So maybe we do that. And from here, we can probably go ahead and start picking out the doors. And honestly, the doors are very limited in the type that they have in this game. So if we go to medium wall height, what doors do we have that represent? Because they have like square doors and they have like the arched castle doors, kind of like this but without the stone. I guess we could pretend the stone is a part of the wall, so we could have this door and it kind of represent the same door in the game, because it does kind of look like the bigger version of the door, especially if you make the door with like the pathway like here in the back. Like it would totally make sense that we'd have this door because the path would come straight up to it. I don't know, I feel like that works. And then I always put smaller doors on the balcony, and we don't really have like the triangle shaped doors like I want. Like we have arch doors, but like that's not like the pointiness that we have. But I guess they could do we have a round wood door? Well, this kind of looks like the door we have, like the square and the round door we have. So this is more triangle. This could work because this kind of looks like a bell, and one of the decorations on the doors is the bell. I tend to do like double archway doors onto the balconies. I don't know if I should, maybe the door should be on the curve for this part, so it's not like a direct wall there. I might have to delete some walls to make that look right. Let's just delete these center walls here and see if that fixes the lighting glitch on that real quick. No, of course it doesn't. Okay, well it's just gonna be weird. It's just gonna be weird. It's fine because that looks very Tiny Glade-ish. I feel like that works. Let's go ahead and do some matching wallpaper here of the matching stuff already. So let's go ahead. I think this is the wall color we kind of decided to go with. Maybe make all of it the same. There's sometimes I would use different wall colorings in Tiny Glades, but a lot of times I do mostly the same on the building. And then let's go ahead and get some platform in there as well, because we're gonna need that. We also need the flooring, so we can do this flooring everywhere and back here, which I think looks good. And now we gotta do the windows, which again, the windows are very limited in this game. So honestly, these windows do pretty much fit perfectly though. Like this pretty much looks like what the windows look like in the game, so it works. So maybe we'll do a window on either side of these doors. We can do bigger versions of these windows up here, maybe fit a third in there actually. That looks right. And then we could put some of these windows here. That kind of gives Tiny Glade vibes. And then honestly, I do a lot of the arch windows on like the different levels of the towers that I do in Tiny Glades, and mainly just like circle them around. A lot of times I'll put them at like an angle, but I think that would look weirder in The Sims 4. I'm trying to make it look decent, even though it's supposed to be based off a different game. Oh yeah, we do need another door out here. Let me finish putting the windows. This doesn't have a lot of room for windows. Maybe we could just do a door in the center there. And then we could do some of the bigger square windows above this door maybe. That looks good. Because I tend to put just windows everywhere on the builds because there's only so much you can do decoration wise. We could do long rectangle window here and then the short window above it. I feel like that looks pretty accurate. And then we don't have like the little, okay, this is gonna sound so weird if you don't play the game. Basically they have windows that are just like little square holes, and like the only thing we have like that is this, and this is just not small enough. These are almost the right size, but they have the thing in the middle, which is not accurate. I guess it's better than nothing. Okay, but because I always put like the square windows above the doors in the front, I just think it looks good. So I want to do that. Maybe we can put these on the sides over here like that. We want to go ahead and maybe put like a fireplace moment decoration. It's a little weird because it doesn't place like on the side as well as I want it to, but I can get it to place on the side. It just doesn't look as good, but it gives the vibe. Wall lights. Wall lights is a huge thing in Tiny Glade, so let's go ahead and get some lighting up in here. So I feel like that they always point down. Timing lights that kind of point down. I guess these could work. So yeah, this is kind of accurate. But I'm gonna alt place them because you are more able to like basically alt place in the game by default. It's not even an option you have to turn on. So let's go ahead and place these lights, and then we'll place one in the middle here. And then we want to, oh yeah, I didn't put a door back here. Dang it, I knew there was something I was forgetting. Okay, well maybe I tend to put the lights above the door, so maybe we can get a door to fit under that, and then we can do the lights above the windows. All right, let's see if we can right quick copy this door here. Oh yeah, that light fits above there. It looks a little weird. Maybe we can lower it a little bit. So we have that. Honestly, I feel like that looks really good for a Tiny Glade themed castle structure wise. Now it just needs a little bit more decoration. And like the decorations are weird. They kind of just randomly spawn. I have an idea of some of the decorations that we have that kind of look like the stuff in the game. So obviously potted plants are kind of a thing. I have a couple in mind in particular. It's something like this, but not like the triple vessel. It's something like this, like from Cats and Dogs. Maybe not so colorful though. This, but smaller. Maybe I can just shrink it. I guess that works. But we could put these here and kind of fill up that little gap here. And then we don't have like the trap doors that spawn decorations, but I guess you could you delete them most of the time. I like to sometimes leave the trap doors, but there are other decorations that spawn, like some crates down on the dock or something, because that is a thing as well. We also have like broom decorations. It's not exactly this, but this does kind of get the vibe of the broom decoration in the game. Like you could just squeeze it into that corner. It's not going to be seeable, but we know it's there. The wheelbarrow is one of my favorite decorations in this game. It doesn't exactly fit the castle vibes I was going for, but I mean, maybe the workers have a little wheelbarrow over by the well. We could put it like that. I just want to pick out decorations like are in the air. We have like little barrels. That could work for the dock. Yeah, let's put the barrels down here. Something like this. Yeah, that gives the right vibes. That actually totally gives the right vibes. So we could do like a barrel here, a little crate and a barrel there, and then we could go like the bench here maybe, and then the barrel here. I don't know, I feel like that works. And also we need to copy the flooring onto here. There we go. And then I guess foundation question mark? Yep, foundation. All right, let's do that. Bam, boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. And then is there any other decoration I want to put? The broom is not called broom. So if I type broom, that's not gonna help me. But like they have, I don't know, I feel like we could put something on the wall that's supposed to more so look like it was placed down like up here or something, just because there's not a lot of room. So I was trying to go with something. I guess we could, that's not exactly a thing they have in the game. Here's the broom I was looking for. It's not exactly the right vibe, but I kind of like it for like right here or something. If we go back to sculptures, maybe put a sign, because you can kind of build signs with the walls, so we could do The sign doesn't really match, though. Well, this is more a rock sign, but I guess that also kind of fits the vibes. So maybe we can put like a little rock sign over here in front of the well. And then let's go ahead and put some rocks in as well, because this rock actually matches the color of the castle. So I feel like if we put these at the bottom, that'll probably look good. So let's place this down. I want it to not float. Can it just not float? This one's not floating. I guess I could put it at the bottom here. I guess I could also layer it like this. I feel like that kind of gives the right vibe. I can't get as close to the foundation as I want to without it jumping up annoyingly, but if I rotate it, would it look more full? No, I feel like that's gonna be the fullest it looks like right there. And then we can kind of do the same vibe. I put another one in the front here to even them out. I don't know, I feel like that gives slightly the right vibes, especially once we put the actual stair railing. So let's go ahead and turn on Castle Estate Kit and this stair railing to go up this way. And then I want to do some terrain paint. So we have a bunch of different, well, not a bunch, we have some different paths, and most of them are rocks, but they're like different variants of like rocks. Some of them have more grass in them and whatnot. So we have that, but I don't feel like that's like the best one. I feel like this one could fit the vibes of one of the paths we have. So we have this path here. I did say we were gonna have like a side door over here leading to that, didn't I? Let's go ahead and put another side door here. Maybe we can put it closer so it doesn't go off the train so much. Train paint smaller and do like a little swirly path down here. I feel like that fits the vibe of what I tried to do here. And then honestly, we could fit more of these crates by the door and maybe another decoration. Let's see, what else can we put that kind of fits the vibe? So we could do some more of these brooms. That kind of represents one of the decorations they have. So we can just alt place that there. Clips a little bit into the ground, but I feel like that's a back door vibe. And then we want to put a path going down here, because I did say we were gonna put another area down here. So let's go ahead and take the train paint. We'll make it a little bit bigger, because honestly, like, what if we had like a little patio moment, and then we could take the little one and go sweet down here, and maybe we have more of just like an actual beach area here. So was it this terrain paint? Yeah, I think it was this terrain paint I used. So we could just make this a whole actual beach area. Like, it looks like you just go in and jump in the water, kind of like that. Don't really need decoration there. Maybe we can put more trees. We don't really get to choose the size of the trees, but they do come in different sizes sometimes. So I don't feel like cheating the size of the tree is too unrealistic, but there are flowers. So don't have the ability to like do the flower painting, but I can put flowers that kind of represent, and these flowers very much represent the flowers in Tiny Glade, at least in one of the seasons. Some of the seasons are different, but I feel like a lot of times they have purple flowers. So we can put some purple flowers around everywhere to kind of represent the landscaping in this game. Like right around the edge of the tower here. That works. I guess it would make sense to put some of these here. I guess we could do different kind of purple bushes. Purple is kind of the vibe I'm going for, but this is the only one that looks really accurate without going into the flowers. So what if we just, I guess we can make it bigger, kind of represent like the bushier one, because like you press it once and it kind of gives you like flat purple flowers, and then you click it again and it gives you like medium, and then you put it again and you get like super big bushy purple. So I feel like that's kind of the vibe I'm trying to go for here. Maybe we can shrink some and put them out front too. Maybe we can have them kind of surround the edge of the water here, because I do like to do that in Tiny Glade. Maybe we'll just have it go all the way to the little dock. There we go. That looks good. And then maybe we can put some more small ones over here around the well area. The back, should we do more? I don't know. I kind of like it just having like a grass area, but also I feel like I would put something here. Just put another little seating area. I guess we could do a bench up here, kind of looking down at the water. It will float, so I don't think it's actually functional, but I don't hate that as a decoration. I kind of like it just having the grass down below it, like you could like roll down the hill into the water or something. We could make this area look a little bit more blended in with some other rocks, but other than that, most of this is pretty good. Let's see if we can find a rock that kind of has the right colors, and if big enough could fill in the space without cutting into the stairs. Okay, if I alt place it like right in here, it kind of looks better. I feel like that looks better. Like if we size this down, put it here, raise it up to about the same length, and then alt place it as close as we can. Okay, I feel like screwing me over a little bit here. It's not getting as close as the other one. That's better than nothing. Rocks kind of leading up like in a hill formation. And with that, I think we're going to call the outside completely done. And like I said, I was just going to do a quick interior floor plan. Not much room for a floor plan, but this is fine. We can just imagine this is like a little dining space for like a round dining table. That could be the side door. So I guess the kitchen would be over here, because I did want an archway into here, which I did say. So I will go ahead and actually put that. So we have that matching like that, because you can kind of do that in tiny glades. Put a door in front of an archway or archway in front of a door. And then how are we going to break this up into actual rooms? So maybe this could be the entire dining room, and then I guess the kitchen be along here. Where are we gonna have the stairs? Hold on, we do have to have the stairs. Oh, it's too tall. Okay, maybe should we do a ladder? Well, honestly, if we're gonna put a ladder in, it might actually work better in this little hole over here. Like we could just delete the wall, and then let's see. I'm assuming it would work best if we did it something like this, because you climb up through the hole and step out the side. I think that's how it would work logically. And then that'll lead us to the upstairs. We still gotta get a kitchen area downstairs, but I'm thinking we could just turn this into a straight hallway and then just have this be full-on kitchen, I guess. And then just like a little proper center area, you would have like a hallway basically. So a kitchen on this side, dining room on that side, hallway to the upstairs, ladder on this side. So this is a tiny castle. And then I kind of imagined it would just be like bedrooms up here. If I could fit 2 bedrooms, that would be ideal. First of all, it would help if I delete the center parts out of this. And honestly, maybe the upstairs tower could be accessible as well. I mean, we would need another ladder, which would be a pain. Also, it doesn't want me to delete this wall. Well, I guess this is going to be the bathroom, because I don't know what else to make it. I guess we still have to have an access up here. If we put a ladder somewhere here, oh yeah, is that going to be the only space we can do it? I guess so. We do a ladder here. We could like pretend there's a door under there. Have I put any doors in this yet? No, I haven't. Okay, let me just pick out a door real quick. Just like an inside door. It could just be simple wooden door. So actually, you know what, the archway would look better into the dining area. And then we have this into the tower area. I kind of imagine this would be like either a study or a nursery, and it could have the hallway into the back. I guess that means it also needs a door into that hallway. It goes there. It doesn't show on that wall very well, but at least there's a door there. And I don't think that's actually going to be functional, but I also don't think anyone's actually going to be playing with this build. Also, all the windows need to be moved up one. I knew when I put them down, I should have checked. I was like, no, it'll be fine. No, it indeed is not fine. It needs to be moved up. There we go. So we have that. That could be a little study or watchtower or nursery that leads out to the top balcony. That room's closed off there. We put a door here or the bathroom. I guess person with this bedroom could have like, honestly, maybe this is like the master bedroom. So it could have its own personal balcony, door, It has its own bathroom up to the tower. Like, I feel like it makes sense. And maybe we can just put 2 of these doors to show it's supposed to be like a master bedroom. And then I kind of imagined there being like a smaller bedroom. Very smaller bedroom. But it could cut off the stairs there, have the windows, have the hallway. It does make it a little bit awkward on this window, but I've done worse in a Sims build. Have its own door, which means it won't have straight access to the bathroom. You will have to go through like the main bedroom to get to the bathroom, but it's a tiny castle. You should be happy that you get 2 bedrooms at all. So I think with that, that's a pretty significant floor plan, and I think it looks pretty good to represent a tiny Glade build. It works really well. The only thing I would have added would be like flag on the roof. Oh, we do have a flag. I forgot the Adventure Awake comes with a flag. It's not the exact right type of flag I would want to use for a tiny Glade build, but it's better than nothing. I think I'm going to end the portion of the tiny Glade build. I know like the whole point was to play with a flared staircase, and that only took like 0.2 seconds out of this whole session of a build, but the part of me that really enjoys building in tiny Glade really enjoyed doing this build and making the references. And honestly, it does look a little weird as a Sims build, especially such on a tiny lot, but I feel like the vibes are there, and we did at least play with the staircases and showed that, you know, they are somewhat at least working right now. But like I said, I'm gonna wrap up this part of the video here, but I did have one more thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and that is the obvious elephant in the room that I don't actually own the Royalty and Legacy expansion pack yet, because obviously doing a castle build, even though, you know, the castle estate kit fits the more of the vibes of tiny Glade, I still would have been using some of the stuff from the Royalty and Legacy expansion pack because it would be the new thing, and I have been hyping it up. So basically, I've been talking about it on my channel since they officially talked about it, but I did start following it when it leaked before it was even officially announced. So I have been like talking about how excited I was for this pack, and even though I don't like the direction EA and The Sims is going in, especially with the new owners and the way that they're running things right now, and there's rumors about pay subscription in the future, like, I don't like any of that, but one, this is supposed to rumored to be the last full expansion pack for The Sims 4, so it's kind of going to be nostalgic if that's true, but also, this is something I've been wanting. Like, I was such a big fan of The Sims Medieval. I know this isn't the exact same thing. I feel like it's close enough in theme, and considering that I literally have worked for multiple Ren fairs, gone to Ren fair my whole life, and just kind of grew up loving like things like Shakespeare and, you know, just stuff like that, this definitely fits my vibes. So it is something I want. So I felt like it looked weird that I just kind of disappeared around launch day without saying anything, didn't make any notes on the patch, and then just didn't upload anything about the pack once it actually did come out. And it's not probably what it looks like. It's not because of the buyout. It's not because, you know, the pack is coming out a little glitchy, which it is coming out a little glitchy. I have heard that just from what I've seen on the pack, but at this point, all the packs come out glitchy. What I don't like is that it's come out that this pack was made the cheapest that any expansion pack has ever been made, which, I mean, I guess business wise that's logical, but like, I feel like for such a good theme of a pack, to hear that they copied so many items from so many other packs to like cut back costs and whatnot, that is really sad to me. That's not the reason I didn't buy it, but I just wanted to point out that that has been pointed out, and I hate that, especially since it's like Adventure Awaits was like the most expensive pack that they made, and now that this is supposed to be like the quote last pack, they're like making it as cheap as possible. I don't know, I don't like that. With that being said, the reason I didn't buy it is just because I didn't have the money. Honestly, like, I had to make some big purchases towards my second job, which is my Ren Fair job, which is I do twice a year, and then like I had to pay bills, and I just did not have the money for this pack. But now that I'm having to wait and buy it anyways, I think, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, between me knowing this is like the cheapest made pack they've ever made, and knowing the direction The Sims is going in, knowing who is taking over EA, and I'm trying to cut back on giving them as much money as I can. Like, I'm trying to be more picky with kits. I'm trying to cut costs where I can instead of buying every single thing to review it, because I love The Sims so much, because I don't agree with the moral direction they're going in. I do think I'm going to get it on a discounted website. I hate to say that. I feel like I have to be careful with how I word what I'm talking about, but I don't want to give EA money or as much money if I can help it, and especially if they spent less to make this pack. I don't feel like they should earn as much money for it. So probably when I do buy it, I'm probably going to get it on like an alternative website. I don't know. I feel like at this point, EA doesn't deserve the full amount of money. As much as I love the theme for this pack, I don't know if they deserve it at this point. And I don't know. I just wanted to make a small note that before I end this video, I just want to say, since I haven't put any reviews out on it yet, which honestly kind of works, because there was a couple of videos I wanted to put out before putting out reviews on this pack, and this gives me a little bit more time to have to wait till my next paycheck. So I thought I could do a quick little review on something that I don't actually need the pack to play and show you in gameplay for, and that is the cheats for the new expansion pack. And I don't think I've ever thought to show off the specific cheats for a specific pack for a couple of reasons, honestly. One, back when I started making reviews, they didn't come out with the cheat list like as quick as this. Like, there wasn't as much information on packs released as quickly as they are now. But also, not every single pack comes with cheats, so it's not something I normally think to make a review on. But also, normally when you're looking up a specific cheat, you don't think about it until you need it, and then you just Google it. At least that's how I assume most people do it, unless you're just like memorizing all the cheats somehow in every single pack, which I don't see how. But I thought, you know, it's supposed to be the quote last expansion pack, so I probably won't have the chance to do this again, but I might as well do it now to kind of make up for the fact I can't do reviews for another couple of weeks. So I have all the cheats pulled up in one spot because this nice website, ING, put them all in one place for me. It starts out showing you all the different ways you can enable cheats both on console and PC, and then just lists off a bunch of cheats. So the first one is Royalty and Legacy skill cheats, which the new skill is Swordmanship. So basically the cheat is stats.set underscore skill underscore level major underscore swordsmanship and then X, and then you put whatever number you want the skill to go to. So if you want to max it out to 10, you put 10. And then we have Royalty and Legacy trait cheats. So you can add traits with traits.equipped underscore trait. I'm assuming you put in what trait you want, I would assume. And then it's traits.remove underscore trait to remove it. And then it shows here. So like for thread shifter, you would put traits.equipped underscore trait underscore thread shifter. Okay, so you have to put trait underscore and then the trait under it there. And then we have here, if you want to level up or demote a sim in the noble career, use these commands. So it's careers.promote noble, careers.demote noble. And then Royalty and Legacy Dynasty cheats. You can edit prestige and unity levels of your active dynasty by entering the following commands. So it looks like here for the different levels, it has different numbers, but it's stats.set underscore stat ranked sadistic underscore dynasty underscore prestige. And then for level 0 you have 0, level 1 you have 100, level 2 you have 450, level 3 you have 1350, level 4 you have 3300, level 5 you have 6700, level 6 you have 11100, level 7 you have 16100, level 8 you have 21100, level 9 you have 26100, level 10 you have 31100. Okay, that was a lot. And then for Dynasty Unity, if you want Unity Crisis, you want to do stats.set underscore stat ranked underscore dynasty underscore unity 0 through 44, whichever you want. For crisis neutral, you do the same thing, but 45 through 84. If you want unity stability, you have 85 through 130. And that looks like it's most, if not all, the cheats that come in this pack. I know that's just like a really short random review to throw in at the end of this video, but like I said in the beginning, it's gonna be a mix in this video. Like, this video is just a bunch of video ideas put into one. But I hope this kind of makes up for the fact that I didn't put a video on the patch the day it came out, and also I haven't bought the pack yet, but money be tight. Money be tight. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna end this video here. I hope you enjoyed it. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that awesome stuff, because you guys are awesome people. I'll see you next time. Alright,